What's up guys, and welcome to another video. Summer is fast approaching and I'm sure that you have summer travels lined up where you will be taking your top off, you'll be on the beach, you'll be by the pool, and you're thinking, oh my god, I am in a pretty sticky situation, I'm not looking good, I need to get myself in shape. So this video is for you. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is that you need to do so that you lose body fat, build a bit of muscle, and get yourself looking good for your summer vacation. Now, of course, nutrition plays a massive part when it comes to losing body fat. So the first thing you want to do is go to your kitchen and get rid of all temptation that lies in any of your cupboards. If anybody goes to my house, they'll see I have the most boring kitchen ever. And there's absolutely zero, I mean, it's a pretty pathetic fridge. There's no temptation, okay? The reason behind that is because late at night, when I start to get peckish, I always start rummaging into the cupboards, and if there's anything there, it's going to be gone. So I know myself, and I know that nothing can be kept in the cupboard. If you live with somebody else or you live with your family, tell your partner to get any junk food or any snacks and just hide them somewhere where you don't know. Otherwise you are going to be tempted, and just snacking away can easily add an extra 300, 400, 500, even 600 calories per day to your total calorie intake. The next thing which you are going to do is you're going to get yourself to the grocery store slash supermarket and do your food shop. Again, you could do this once a week, you do it twice a week. You just need to put some time aside in your day to get it done. Because the worst thing that could happen is when you run out of food, you don't have access to it, and then you start making poor decisions, eating out, and then ultimately not having a clue how many calories you're consuming. Back in the day when I was in my early 20s, didn't have a whole lot of money, so I would go to Aldi and Lidl and I would do my food shop every 4 to 5 days. I had to do it a little bit more frequently because I wanted fresh vegetables. But that was a time where every single meal was prepared by myself, everything was tracked, and my physique was looking on point. If you are the type of person who does not like to go to the grocery store and do all of their shopping, like me, I think it's a massive pain in the ass, then you can always do it online. I think all the major supermarkets worldwide, as far as I know, at least in the UK, you've got Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Asda, Waitrose, M&S. As far as I know, they all have an online grocery store service. The idea is you just want to make it as convenient as possible. Or if you're like me and you have a pretty pathetic fridge and cupboards with zero food in whatsoever, you can get your food online from takeouts or meal prep service. For me personally, I get most of my foods from delivery companies within Dubai because there's some really good takeout places that do unbelievable food. So I would order from them 3-4 times per day, depends if I'm eating out or if I'm eating those meals inside, and based on that I'll add my total calorie intake up. There's also meal prep companies that will literally deliver food exactly to your specifications and your macro targets, so that's even more beneficial. But it just depends on where you're based and whether those services are nearby, and if those services actually deliver tasty food, because sometimes meal prep companies don't always provide you with the tastiest meals. Right, this happens every time. How the hell did I do it last time? Oh! Okay, anyway. So what you're gonna do is set your calorie target for each day. Now this is just gonna be what your initial starting point is going to be. If you haven't tracked your calories before and you have no idea how many calories you've consumed in the past, you probably just don't have a clue at all. So it's best just to get you started on something, and then based on how your body responds, you can make further adjustments week on week. Okay, so some guidelines here, all the way from 60 kilograms to 110 kilograms. If you're at 60, maybe aim for around 2,200. If you're 110 kilograms, aim for around 2,700. See how it goes, but just give yourself a target and try and aim for those totals, okay, each day. How many calories you consume is going to have a massive impact on whether you gain weight or lose weight, right? Next thing you're going to do, set protein target. This is the second most important thing, if not equally as important as 0.1, 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, and do this every single day. It doesn't change if you're training or if you're resting. Next thing, you set your fats and carbs. These can vary on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't have to be exact, so you can afford to be, changing on a day-to-day basis, but I would recommend that you keep your fat intake above 50 or 60 grams. If you go below that, it's not going to be good for your body or for hormone production. And then my last recommendation would be to split the meals up into around 4. The reason behind that is just so that you can get a decent hit of protein throughout the day, okay? If you are the type of person that likes to consume just 2 meals a day, it's gonna be pretty difficult for you to have 70 to 80 grams of protein in a particular meal. And if you're somebody like me who needs to be consuming around 200 grams of protein, that's pretty hard to do in 2 meals. And I find that if I just split that up into 4, it's easier to manage it, and it also means that protein synthesis is occurring throughout the day, which is gonna be super, super beneficial for me to maintain or maximize muscle hypertrophy. So as you are well aware, I'm the type of guy that likes to go on his leisurely walks to try and increase calorie expenditure. However, the summers in Dubai are extremely brutal. It's May here already, and walking is getting a little bit too much for me. It's already feeling like it's 40 degrees. So if, like me, you're in a situation where just walking outdoors isn't a possibility, either there's literally nowhere to walk, or it's too cold, or it's too hot, you have the other option of just going on a treadmill and just getting your steps in by doing a 30-45 minute list session. Now I would recommend not doing the cardio before your weight session. Priority should always be the weights, but once that session is done, maybe hopping on the treadmill and just walking for 15, 20, 30 minutes can help to increase your total daily calorie expenditure. And as the weeks progress, as you drop your calories ever so slightly, the calorie expenditure should also increase to further promote a deficit and further fat loss. So again, one of the best things to do is just to walk, but you are gonna have to walk a little bit more. And whenever I was prepping for my competition a couple of years ago, or should I say like nearly 10 years ago now, when I was 23, 24, the final few weeks before the competition, to really get rid of that stubborn body fat and get myself below 10%, I just had to do a hell of a lot of walking. I had to go on the treadmill every single day for 45 minutes, an hour, just to grind it out. It took time. It was annoying. I didn't have the energy to do it, or the motivation, but it was just something which I had to do. So if you are struggling to get rid of that last bit of body fat, just get on the treadmill and walk, or go outside and walk. Bosh! See that technique? Trash. Anyway, this is very important. You need to pay attention. We have 2 diagrams here representing a pretty sedentary person and a relatively active person. They both go to the gym 3-4 times per week, but the activity which they do on a day-to-day basis is quite different. So going through this very briefly, explaining what it means. Basal metabolic rate. That's how many calories that you burn by doing absolutely nothing. So you could just be lying in bed all day, not even moving. You're gonna burn calories just simply existing. You can't really change that, however, over a long period of time. If you do, for example, put on an extra 10 kilograms of pure muscle, then this is going to be a little bit higher, but in the short run, you can't change it. TEF, thermic effect of food. That's how many calories you burn just digesting food. Again, this really is not gonna change much, so you can't do anything about that. These 2 can be changed and have a big impact on how many calories that you will burn on a day-to-day basis. Now, both of these people go to the gym, okay? So they're burning, relatively speaking, a similar amount of calories when they're inside of the gym itself, when they're doing exercise. You can increase this, of course, by either going to the gym more frequently or burning more calories inside of the gym. What I want you guys to be focusing on when you go to the gym is to actually build muscle, okay? The goal should not be to go to the gym and burn as many calories as possible. The goal should be, let's go to the gym and do lots of damage so that we can build muscle tissue so that you actually look decent with your top off. Maybe this person decides to go to the gym an extra session per week, or maybe they decide to train a little bit harder. They can burn a few more calories inside of the gym. Ultimately, we're all busy. We have a set amount of time which we can allocate to being in the gym. So that's kind of a restricted window where we can burn calories. And you don't want to overdo it and try and kill yourself by burning 2,000 calories in a session, if that's even possible. So outside of the gym, that's when you should be looking to think about how are there going to be ways where I can burn more calories. And it's also a way you can do so without it being too strenuous on your body and negatively impacting your recovery. So examples, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. First one, walking, just walking around. You don't really burn a lot of calories doing it, but if you do enough of it, it starts to add up on a day-to-day basis. Other examples include just sitting down and twitching, okay? This if you do on a long enough basis, will burn quite a lot of calories, although I'm not necessarily recommending that you do that. But also, you know, just going around cleaning the house, or for example, like me back in the day when I used to be a personal trainer, just coaching someone for 1 hour, I'd actually end up burning quite a lot of calories because I'm picking things up, I'm walking around and being mentally attentive. So that increased my NEAT by quite a significant amount. So that's what the focus should be, okay? Don't think about going to the gym to burn more calories. Of course you can do, but the focus should really be on a day-to-day basis outside of the gym. When you have a lot more time to burn calories, think about how you can burn more, okay? You wanna make the gym as convenient as it possibly can be. Don't go and join a gym that's 1 hour away because it's gonna be an absolute pain in the ass to get there and back. I'd also recommend joining a gym that you actually enjoy going to. Maybe fork out a little bit more money to join a gym with a nicer crowd of people or better equipment. That little investment might actually make a difference. Now, when it comes to the training program that you follow, the split, the exercises that you do, I highly recommend that you sign up to my app. My app literally has every single thing that you could possibly need to know about training inside of it. A lot of people ask me, oh, should I train in the morning? Should I train in the evening? When is the best time? It doesn't really matter. Just pick a time which you are realistically gonna stick to. I've noticed that a lot of people, if they do prefer to train in the evening, it does become less likely that they get that session done. You might go home from work, lie on the sofa, and the thought of going to the gym is kind of not really something you want to do. You'd rather just pile it off and save it for another day. So you're getting up early and just getting it done out of the way means that you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to spend the whole day thinking about it. It's boxed off, and it's certainly something which I would do if I was working a 9 to 5. Refeed meals. So now there's a big difference between refeed meals and cheat meals. Cheat meals are just wild binge fests which are not tracked and usually do quite a lot of damage, whereas a refeed meal is structured, it's planned, and it can have a lot of positive effects to your overall fat loss journey. Refeed meal is consisting of a meal which is usually higher in carbohydrates, and you keep those carbs clean. So maybe you have more rice, more sweet potato, more oatmeal, or you give yourself a little bit of a treat, you have a bowl of cereal, you have some fruit, whatever it might be. You want to try and keep it clean, but it's just a boost in your overall carbohydrate intake. It could be a couple 100 grams, okay? It just really depends upon a number of different factors, okay? Now, let's take, for example, someone who's consuming 2,500 calories. That's what they decided to start out doing. They found out that this is placing them in a little bit of a deficit, which is good. They feel good for the first few days, but near the end of the week, they're kind of like, oh, you know, energy levels are down a little bit. I'm looking flat, I'm looking depleted. Strength has gone down. I don't feel as though I'm getting a pump inside of the gym, and I'm actually now starting to crave naughty food. That is a sign when you should have a refeed meal, okay? So at the end of the week, boom, you have that refeed meal, you have a boost in the calories, but it's coming in the form of carbs, and most of those carbs are just going to be absorbed into the muscle and stored as glycogen. And what you'll find is the following day or even 2 days after this refeed meal, your sessions are going to be amazing. You're going to have a great pump, your strength is going to be through the roof, you probably have a good sleep as well, and you're just going to be extremely motivated. So I'd always recommend, probably after a refeed meal, doing the hardest session of the week, for example, legs. Now, what would be quite common for people when doing a cut is to, over time, gradually decrease their calorie intake to promote further fat loss. Of course, you could burn more calories on a day-to-day basis, but another way to do it is to cut the calories. So after the refeed meal, you could maybe drop your calories by 100 on a day-to-day basis. The same thing happens again. First few days are fine, but at the end of the week, you're like, oh, again, I just want to eat some dirty food, can't be bothered to go to the gym, strength is absolutely trash. Time for a refeed meal. So again, you have the refeed meal, boost the calories, you feel amazing, and then the cycle continues. Of course, you're not going to continuously keep dropping your calories further, but you'll get to the point where you'll probably, you know, I don't really recommend most guys go below 2,000 calories. For females, you can a little bit, but for guys, no, because it's just going to negatively impact the quality of your sessions and your mindset. And it's not going to be good. You're not going to look great if you consume less than 2,000 calories for a prolonged period of time. And it usually will end up in binging. So once you've got to the point where you are kind of like the lower limits to how many calories you consume, still do the refeed meals, but really try and focus on burning more calories on a day-to-day basis. One of the best things you can do when eating out is to order your food, but don't have a knife and fork, so it just means it's impossible to actually eat the food itself. Only kidding. When you're eating out, you should always prioritize protein-rich choices and try and minimize the amounts of fats. You can have some carbs, assuming that the carbs are relatively clean. I'd also recommend skipping starters and skipping desserts. Problem with desserts, it's very easy to overconsume calories, and usually bad things happen once you have a dessert, aka you just eat more dessert. Sugar is like crack, so I've been told. If you have overindulged, then I would recommend just eating fewer calories either for the rest of the day, or if you know you're going to be overindulging a little bit, consume fewer calories before that meal. Okay, so just have literally protein and vegetables, and then that meal when you eat out, if it is going to be a big one, you'll get the fats and carbs and hit those targets pretty easily, because when you go out, there's all sorts of oils and sauces which are added to the meals, which you probably don't even have a clue about. And even if you were, say for example, Monday to Friday, you eat all those meals at home, you have all the numbers hit, it's not the end of the world if maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday you don't necessarily track everything, just as long as you are sensible and you don't overindulge. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the more that you can track and the more that you're in control of what you're putting into your mouth, the better and the quicker the results are going to be. And then the evening comes around. Now, why is the evening important? Well, it's because the majority of people who are on some sort of fat loss mission or on a diet plan, including myself, usually tend to fuck up on the evening time. I don't know what it is. Usually when 7, 8, 9 o'clock comes around, just after you've eaten your last meal, sat in front of the TV, just winding down, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm still hungry. And then you get up, you go to the fridge, go to your cupboards, have a little look around, see if there's anything there that might tempt you. And then you realize, oh, no, can't eat anything. Go back to the sofa. And still, you can't stop thinking about food. So you get up again, see if anything new has appeared in the fridge, in the cupboards. And you go back to the sofa. Now, this is troublesome, okay? I deal with it. I'm sure a lot of you guys deal with it. There are a couple of ways to kind of manage this. First thing, you can just go to bed earlier, okay? The longer you stay awake after you've had your last meal, the more likely it is you're going to be hungry, and the harder it is it's going to be for you to fall asleep. So change the time when you go to sleep, or maybe delay that last meal to a little bit later, ideally 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. Alternatively, this is something I like to do as well, I like to save quite a lot of my calories for that last meal of the day. So I've got something to look forward to, and it's going to make me feel quite full and satisfied and help with me going to sleep. But sometimes that still doesn't work, and you might just have like a craving for something sweet. Now let's assume that you have consumed all of your calories for the day and you really don't want to be consuming any more. There's a few little tricks which I have under my sleeve whenever I'm craving something sweet. First of all, combination of sparkling water mixed with some cordial juice, okay? So just by mixing these together and having this sweet, very low calorie drink, sparkling water, kind of fills my belly up. And usually after I've had that, the cravings go away a little bit. Alternatively, you could just go and brush your teeth. Now this one's a bit of a weird one, but it does actually work, okay? If you do feel like you want to go and eat something, but you know you shouldn't, go and brush your teeth, because after you've brushed your teeth and your mouth is full of minty freshness, you usually don't want to eat anything. Might not be the case with you guys, but it certainly is the case with me. So those are two things which I try and do. Now, it might be the case where you've had a super busy day or a more active day than usual, where you actually genuinely have burned more calories. Maybe your NEAT was a lot higher than usual, and you might have burnt an extra 300, 400, 500 calories, in which case you do feel it. You can be realistic and honest with yourself. And if that has been the case, then you could allocate yourself some more calories in the form of fats or carbohydrates, or even protein. It's up to you. I would probably have a little more carbs. Ideally, what I would try and do is just go and suck it up and go to bed, okay? Because it's quite easy for you to gradually overeat if you keep justifying to yourself why you deserve more food. After watching this video, you may be super motivated at this point in time, but the motivation is going to decline on some days. Some days you might just not have it at all. They are the days that are going to test you. And that is when discipline is going to need to shine through. What are you going to do when you're tired? What are you going to do when you don't have any energy? What are you going to do when you're craving something? Or if you're out and about and you're getting presented with foods that you shouldn't eat, or alternatives to going to the gym when you should really be going to the gym or doing your cardio, okay? Get it done. You got to do the things that most people don't want to do to have a physique, which most people don't have. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you sign up to the Thirst app. I'll see you all on the inside.